Hi, I'm Desiree.
And I'm Sharon.
And this is the Other What podcast. Ladies.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Desiree.
Hello, Sharon.
How are you? Desiree's like our Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah.
You guys ever remember that? Like, you never know where she is, because she ain't in Atlanta this weekend, y'all.
No, I'm in D.C. I have a friend from high school that used to call me Uncle Traveling Matt, like the uncle from the Fraggle Rock. That was always sending postcards.
Now that is a deep cut. I do not remember Fraggle Rock that much.
What?
Oh my God. I know. I remember watching it, but
Andrew,
not to know the names of the people.
Stop the podcast.
I know. My nerd card has just been revoked. Completely revoked. Absolutely.
Oh my
Absolutely.
God. I don't even know how to move on from that, Sharon.
Is our friendship over? This 1 year friendship gone, done. Fraggle Rock. People will be like, you got to do some deep thinking,
meditation tonight.
Yes.
Yeah. I tease.
Oh, I know. It's good stuff.
Fun.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that Desiree is our traveling maven out there.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. So, God, what are we going to talk about today, Desiree?
Let's talk about something that is necessary and that we should not be ashamed or afraid to talk about with each other. Let's talk about women's health. Let's talk about these old bodies.
Our old bodies.
Yes.
Our young new bodies, young old bodies. We're in that. This goes back to our transition thing, right?
Yeah.
We're transitioning from, these crazy girls who used to party all the time, and now we got aging bodies, which is weird and changing.
And making sounds all the time when I'm getting up and sitting down.
Yes. We creak. I feel like I creak a little bit more. Or is it the old man sounds of just like, when I sit down.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Sometimes do a little rock depending on what kind of chair I'm in.
Hilarious. Oh my God. We're going to be like the two old ladies on the front porch in rocking chairs. Remember those days?
I know. Somebody bring me some tea.
Okay, so you're the youngin in this friendship of ours. So you want to kind of, I know you're the youngin. You want to
I'm a baby.
You're so cute. You want to talk about what you've had to do in the last few weeks, I guess?
Yes. Let's talk about it. So I am in my mid 40s now, and apparently the mid 40s is the new 50 because
Really?
you have to have a colonoscopy. At 45, it used to be 50. That's what my doctor told me. It's the new 50.
I
was like,
know that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the new 50. Hilarious.
Yeah, I was like, ma'am, that's the wrong way to go. It's the wrong way.
Yes, it is totally. The other way, I want it to be the new 35. What's going on? Yeah, right. I know. Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so that was my first time doing that, Sharon. And everybody I feel like you can't tell one person that you're doing this because everybody's got a story about how terrible theirs was. There's no positive story. So I am on here to share my positive story.
I'm glad you had a positive story. That's great. Let's do it.
So, you have to take that solution before you get the colonoscopy. Well, you go into the doctor, you probably get a referral from your primary care and just it was a very brief, maybe 20-minute appointment. My doctor asked me a bunch of questions and just recommended you're at the age now where we're starting to do these earlier because I guess colon cancer is so prevalent. So I'm all for preventative health, let's do it. So I set up an appointment the following week. 2 days before my appointment, the pharmacy delivered the solution that you're supposed to take. Of course, I can't think of the name of it right now, but it came in like 2 little bottles.
Yep.
And a plastic cup like you would get at a game or something, like a sporting event, and with very specific instructions. Then there's also a list that they give you when you leave the doctor from the first appointment of things that you can't do, or, like no nuts or seeds 3 days before. I think some type of oats or granola or something you can't have.
I did not get anything that specific at my first colonoscopy. That is very specific with your doctor.
Yes.
Whoa. Okay.
And then the day before, you can eat a light breakfast. Well, I guess it also depends on what time your appointment was. Mine was at 1 something in the afternoon. And so you can eat a light breakfast up until like 9 o'clock. For me, it was 9 a.m. And then I had to have clear liquids the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. And so I stayed home from work thinking I was going to be in a terrible mood because I do get hangry. It wasn't so bad. So then I started taking the medicine later that day. And so, but during the day I had chicken broth and I had tea. And that was pretty much it. The stuff is some type of prep. I think the movie prep or soup prep was the one that I had I was thinking of the name. Soup prep was the name of it. And so then that night at 6, I had to take my first thing in the medicine, which is basically drinking, I think like 16 or 32 ounces of water with this mixture. But you could also mix it with like a clear Gatorade or another type of juice. So I mixed it with like a frozen frosty glacier or whatever that one's called, the clear one. Mm-hmm. And it was fine. It just had almost a salty taste with a hint of a bitter aftertaste. Almost like, I think, like a medical Campari.
Oh my God. Did you really we need to coin that, trademark that shit right now, Andrew. A medical Campari.
Yes, that's what it tastes like.
To help you poo everything out. Of course you're gonna like Désirée. Come on, that's classic.
I want the listeners and our viewers to understand that it's not that bad. I mean, it's an acquired taste, but you'll get through it.
Oh my God. It's a poutine, Andrew. Yes. You are brilliant. It is. It's a poutine. I think I'm going to call it that now every time somebody goes through a colonoscopy. You're going to have a poutine.
Yeah. That stuff clears you out. So for me, I'm pretty regular, if you would like to know, with my bowels.
Wow, we are really good friends if you're telling me about your regularity.
Here we are, girl. Here we are.
And all of our listeners, right. Désirée is very regular.
I'm regular. So it was interesting because I thought this was the part they were like, oh, the medicine is horrible, then you're just going to be in and out of the bathroom. The medicine started working probably about 30, 45 minutes after I took it. I was in the bathroom off and on for maybe 2.5 hours, but it was not like uncomfortable. Like I kept thinking it was going to feel like when you have like a really bad stomach pain and like
a
horrible
cramp.
Diarrhea. I thought,
right.
or like in the movies you see they slip somebody something and they're in these horrible stomach pains.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was just, okay, well, I got to go to the bathroom. Go.
Yeah, it kind of just like, it felt like there was a slide in your belly and everything just slid out, right?
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy.
It just sounded like a faucet was on.
Yeah. That's right. Ooh.
That's it.
Yeah. But then it was done. That wasn't done.
Then it was done.
That's good.
Then it was, some more broth. And the next day, got up, had to be up at 6:30 to take the other half of the medication. And same thing, maybe about an hour that time because I didn't have really anything in my stomach at that point. And I was done.
And you're done. That's great. Wow. Yeah. So all of the horror stories you heard, you were like, guys, come on, it's not that bad.
Right.
I think it's actually gotten better. The first time I did it last year, I had more prep to do. And then I have to go back for a diagnostic one in a couple days. And that prep seems a lot less than in the last time. So I'm wondering if from a medical perspective, the prep is getting easier. I don't know. I'm not sure, but it's weird that it's different every time I go. I don't understand. I'm going to the same doctor.
I was going to say, I wonder if it's a doctor preference.
Yeah. And you got way more detailed information on stuff. Like, I'm drinking red Gatorade right now. I'm going to be on a liquid diet in 2 days. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm just doing all that stuff. Anyways.
Shame.
It's really bad.
You're not supposed to have red dyes.
I know. I'm just thinking I had it 2 days ago or yesterday, a little bit yesterday. So I'm thinking it's going to just come out of my system in the next 2 days.
Okay.
I'm hoping.
All right.
I mean, I'm also going to a taco party tonight. So I'm going to eat the crap out of that taco party. Can we just make shit jokes the whole time during that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't have any, but I'm sure we can come up with some.
I know Andrew has a lot of them, so he'll just be posting them on during this whole thing. But I want to talk about something that I think that you and me have, I don't think a lot of women talk about enough. And that's the perimenopausal stuff that's happening as we're going through this. Tell me a little bit about your experience, and then I can kind of chime in.
Well, can I finish the colonoscopy story?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes.
That's okay.
You're not done yet? Oh my God, there's more poo?
I want to talk about the actual, the procedure itself. Because a lot of people don't know what that looks like. That looks like you going in the back, putting on a nice blue gown with it open in the back, relaxing. They'll come ask you questions, and they'll start an IV. And they roll you on back. You get on the table, you turn on your left side, you're talking to the attendee, the nurse, anesthesiologist, and you're talking to the tech. And then the doctor comes in, she asks me a question, and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna start putting this in you. And then I woke up and I was done. So, but you could see that they have like this huge monitor, a couple of monitors in the room, and the equipment that they use looks like almost like a tire hose, just this long, thin thing that they will put inside your rectum. But I never felt anything. I didn't have any discomfort afterwards. No feelings of pressure, which is something they tell you may experience. But I was good.
Yeah, yours was easy, and you didn't say anything funny when you were being wheeled out after the anesthesia.
No,
you were a little scared of that, though. I remember when you were talking about that.
I was like, what am I going? Because I remember, like, when I had my carpal tunnel surgery, that my ex-wife, who was my wife at the time, was so frustrated with me because I kept interrupting the doctor to tell them that they did not give me the right anesthesia because I asked to wake up speaking Spanish.
And you don't remember this at all. No. Hilarious.
And she's like, you just kept interrupting him every time he's trying to explain to me like how to take care of you. You were just like so adamant about not being able to speak fluent Spanish.
So this didn't happen this time. That's good. You woke up speaking English, not fluent Spanish, and everything was okay.
Right. And I was very alert, like as soon as I really woke out of this, and I remember like putting my clothes on and then going to where my Aunt Darlene was, because she went with me, and the doctor came back in to check on me, and I said, I know you probably have already told me this, but can you explain everything to me again now that I am coherent? And so she's like, absolutely. Went over everything, instructions for the night, which is, eat something light. Mm-hmm. And then I remember like the whole car ride, we were talking, we had already discussed what I wanted to eat afterwards, just in case I was kind of out of it. But I was fine, got back to the house, took maybe a 4-hour nap. And then I was like, well, okay, well, I'm gonna go home now. And then
That's awesome. Home. Wait, what did you eat after the colonoscopy?
I had a burger.
Oh yeah. That doesn't sound light, but sounds delicious. Yeah. That's what I did too.
Yeah. I just wanted some French fries and a burger.
Yes. I know. After eating having all that broth. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Désirée, I mean, I tend to agree with you. My colonoscopy wasn't horrible. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people just kind of like, it's scary. And I think that's a lot of what's happening, like, right, with our bodies. And it's like all these scary new things. And so.
All right. Well, let's take sips of water and hydrate ourselves. And then we'll come back and we'll get into the perimenopausal stuff.
Ooh, that's the one. That's going to be a scary one. Okay.
Okay. All right. Hello. I keep wanting to do this and talk to everybody on this podcast.
It's because it's your sexy look. You're like, hey, everybody.
I just think it's like I'm listening. This is I'm really listening to you.
It's your listening. I love that. It's interesting how we have these body, right? The way, like I use my hands a lot. Everybody, you can see this on the video. Désirée just is listening and she'll
I'm just
rest your head. Oh, I love that. That's so nice. That's
you.
cool. I know.
Okay. Let's back to being serious.
Serious. Well, I want to make more poop jokes the whole time. Come on. That's what's going to happen. We're going to get serious, people, I promise. And then we'll just insert a poop joke so everybody can laugh a little bit. Because I think we need to. We need to be like, this shit is hard as our bodies are changing. And we're literally being like, wait, this never happened to me before. Why is this happening now? And it's freaky.
One of my girlfriends said, I want to wake up one day where nothing is wrong with my body. Like, I don't have any aches and pains. Not anymore.
Welcome to your 40s. Woo woo.
All right. Perimenopause.
Oh, man. This one's big.
This one is so interesting for me because a lot of the symptoms overlap my Hashimoto's disease, which is the thyroid condition that I have.
Yeah, tell everybody what that is. I didn't know about this until you told me about it a few weeks ago.
Yes, so it is a autoimmune disease that is with folks that have it for hypothyroidism. So my thyroid is underproducing, and this little thing here, this looks like a little butterfly right here in your throat.
Okay.
Controls so much. Oh. So many hormones, so many things in your body, helps regulate, and it can really fuck you up. And a lot of the symptoms, though, as I was looking over for perimenopausal, because I've been perimenopausal for about 7 years now.
Whoa. Okay. Shit.
So it has a lot of the same symptoms. So weight gain, mood swings. You could have vaginal dryness. You could have 0 to no sex drive, hair thinning, dry skin, sore joints. There's like so many things. Like, what is my body doing?
Everything you just talked about is so scary. Like it's everything that's like you're becoming a little shriveled up raisin.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're literally describing like how we're going to shrivel up into like little I don't know. I think that's why nobody talks about it as women. Like, I mean, you were talking about it, right? Like we're in a culture of like this beauty and youth and everything. And then you hit this age and then you're like, oh shit, I'm not going to have it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be, people aren't going to value me anymore. Oh, it's so scary. It is so scary.
I don't want to be invisible.
I don't want to be invisible either. But what's like, it fucks with your head. And I think that's a lot of like what I think that you don't hear a lot about. You hear about all the symptoms. And we did some research online, and there's actually 1 in 10 women when they're in perimenopause or menopause think about suicide. Isn't that awful? Like, like to that extent, because you become a nobody in this society.
Yeah. Well, you're past birthing age and ability, and our society is still like so fixated on youth that, you know, you just feel like, oh, what is my value as a woman?
Right. Yeah. It's the usefulness. I would even say, like, you know, Désirée, you and me don't have kids. No. And that's also something I'm sure, like, as we've grown up over, you know, in our working life and even in our social lives, like, you know, we don't have kids. And, you know, were we women enough because we didn't bear children, right? And now that we're getting into perimenopause and menopause, it's like, what does that look like now too? And I think that's why it just fucks up with your head. This is awful, but I mean, this is how I was raised. You were raised to be useful. As a woman, you were raised to be useful. You're going to fold the clothes. You're going to cook dinner. That's your usefulness. Now that you're turning into a woman that can't bear children, you're not as quote unquote beautiful anymore. What is your usefulness? Yeah. And so I feel like there's a lot of shame and embarrassment, and that's why this mental health thing it's an issue out there for women, aging, and we just don't ever talk about it, and we don't have conversations about it, and it's not accepted.
Why do you think we're so scared to talk to each other about these things? Is it the shame, you think? But if we're all experiencing something similar, why are we so scared to talk to each other about this?
Wow, that's a great question. That's a really, really good question. I don't know. Because as women, too, we're very communal.
Yes.
So you would think that we would want to share a lot of what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe it just comes down to like that fear. Or you know what? I think we're also in a lot of denial too when we're in our 40s. This isn't happening to me. This can't happen to me. I'm gonna look like this forever. I want to look like Michelle Yeoh when I'm 65, right? Like, it's not. I know, right? I don't know what she does. Must have some hormonal therapy to like look that good. But like, I'm just like, or Kate Blanchett. I'm like, holy shit! How do these women in their 50s look so fucking Halle Berry?
Angela Bassett.
Like, how do they look so good? And I think again,
they have money for trainers too, probably.
Trainers, plastic surgery, whatever it might be, doctors, nutrition, yeah. So, but the regular woman can't afford that. We're not going to, and a lot of us do have to like go through a lot. Like we all have different experiences. Like I've heard that like people talk about hot flashes all the time.
Oh yes, yeah.
Do you get the hot flashes?
Every now and then, I get night sweats.
Night sweats. I was getting that a little bit from before. I hear about it and I hear how intense they are, and it's scary. Like it scares me. So when you talk to other women, instead of making it to be like, it'll be okay, you can get through it, it's fear, 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 fear. And I wonder if that's why we're not talking to each other in a kind way about it.
Maybe we should start a group where we just talk about women's health and make it positive, even though it's crazy things happening. It doesn't have to be so scary.
It doesn't have to be so scary.
We don't have to feel like we're alone going through these things.
Exactly. And why are we not celebrating this? Like, here's all these women who are strong and amazing. And yeah, they're later in life, but like we've said before, Désirée, we're experienced. We know what the fuck we're doing. And instead of being like, whoa, my God, they're not going to be, useful women anymore. We should be celebrating, being like, hey, you're getting into this amazing new part of your life. No more periods. Yay!
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Right? Oof. I mean, can we not celebrate a little bit? I know.
Can't wait.
So it's one of those things where I feel like we're just neglecting ourselves in a way by not doing it. But I love that idea. And I think that there are some like Instagram groups out there that are trying to do this, but I think it's just hard. I think society just doesn't want to hear it. We're very tone deaf to the things we don't want and we don't like today, these days. And it's just kind of sad. But thank you for talking.
Yeah.
About this. I think I'm hoping that our listeners...
I probably shared too much because I'm not like a person that is not going to talk about these things. But I also know that everybody's not comfortable at my level of being comfortable speaking.
Yeah, you are. I know. And we were talking about this off camera before, but I've had some body issues this week, and I'm embarrassed to talk about it. So I'm going to sit on it for a little bit. I went through a lot of shame and embarrassment this week. My body is changing. I'm as you guys can see on camera, I'm a very active, very person. And when I hit like a wall, because my body won't let me, it devastates me.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of going through a lot of that, of that. And it's still really hard for me to talk about. But it is, it's something I'm going to need to figure out but I think that's why it's giving yourself time to really sit with this and go, yep, you're in your late 40s, your body's changing, and you're going to have to accept it.
You are. But, and just also remember, you're not the only person only woman that's probably experiencing or has experienced what you're going through.
I know. It's so true. It's like even talking about it. I don't know if it's because I was looking online too. So it's almost Asian. It's Asian American, whatever, Islander, blah, blah, blah month coming up soon. And, so there's been a lot of things about like mental health around Asian Americans. And we don't talk about our mental health and we don't talk about our bodies changing and we don't talk about when things are wrong, right? Everything's good. Everything's fine. Like we're really good at covering things up and we're really good at not having hard conversations because we don't want to rock the boat, because we want to assimilate. And so it is a stigma in the Asian community to not want to talk about this kind of stuff. And I think that's also the way I was raised as well. So I'm learning how to have harder conversations about myself. And it takes a lot for me to like have that. So
Sharon, do you think that this is stuff that you can talk to your mom about?
No. No. My mother didn't even teach me how to use a tampon or a pad. Like I did not have a sex talk with her. I've never had a sex talk with her. No way. Like and we've talked about this in previous episodes. Yeah. My relationship with my parents is transactional. Right. It is not at the level where they gave me any guidance about my body, about who I am. And they're in their early 80s. They're not going to be those people and they're never going to change. And it makes my dad so uncomfortable to even talk about like me dating again. And he just walks away and starts cleaning the kitchen. And my mom just kind of sits there and is like, oh no, not another one. Like, why do you so I think between the divorce and then me now dating again, their minds are like, if I started talking about my body and like getting a colonoscopy, and by the way, we're going to talk, I'm getting my first MRI. I have to schedule it, but I have to get an MRI. My parents' brain are going to explode. Yeah. One, with worry, because they don't understand the health system here in the States very well. They've both been relatively healthy. And then they worry about me. I'm the only child. What's going to happen to me? And it's a very transactional thing.
Yes.
I was born to take care of them. They have said this to me. That is my role in life. Yeah. Wow. And that's the way that that's the way that I interact with my parents. It's very awkward and weird.
I could talk to my mom about this stuff, but her experience is so different than mine, because my mom, like even during my menstrual cycle, never experienced cramps. So when I would I know. So when I would be complaining about like cramps and my back hurting, and like sometimes I get to the point where I'm throwing up because they're so bad. Whoa. She's like, "You're fine." I'm like, "Mommy, I'm not fine. Like I am suffering here." Oh, and then I've asked her like, "Mommy, what's menopause like?" She's like, "Freedom."
Oh, okay.
And I was like, "Really?" But she also never had like any of the crazy symptoms. She didn't have hot flashes. She didn't have mood swings.
That's amazing.
I don't even understand what her body does, but it has been very nice to her.
I wanna like put like a big quote around that. What is menopause like, Mom?
Freedom. Yeah.
Holy shit, Desiree. That's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. Dude, no, I wish you had like inherited some of those things so it wasn't so painful for you. It sounds like you got all the that sucks.
Yeah. I got everything she didn't get.
Oh my God. Well, we're going to leave you guys with something really funny. Our producer, Andrew, sent over this hilarious article. So I'm getting my first MRI in the next couple of weeks. And we'll post it in the show notes, but it's don't fart during an MRI. And I think it is so hilarious. Like, have you ever I went to the OB the other day and I was like, I did go to the bathroom, but then I had to go to the bathroom again. And I was like, of course. Oh my God, I got to pee so bad. And here's this OB sticking their finger up in these places. And like, I was like, oh my God. So we've all had this thing, and this guy actually writes this article about farting in the MRI.
Yes.
And as he's being wheeled out of the MRI, how the stink is just like looming over him. So I think, oh, it's a woman. Sorry. Yeah. So I think it's so funny. And I think that we need to laugh about a lot of this stuff a lot more, because if we don't, it does get to a point where, you know, our mental health starts going down the drain and we start thinking like, oh no. And we've all been there, but you know, I'm hoping that you guys, that our listeners can find community, and that this helps you guys with like looking at this like change in your life in a positive way, rather than what society's throwing at you, which is all the negative shit that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Anyways,
Thank you, Sharon.
It's my 2 cents.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Desiree. You know how much I love you.
I love you
all right,
too.
Guys, I know. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. This was an interesting episode, and a good episode, I think, too, for everybody. And if you want to hear more of it, let us know. Yeah. And you can check us out on theotherwhat.com. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook.
We're on the YouTube.
With the YouTubes. And
yes,
we
go
got
to our
merch.
YouTube so that you can actually see us.
Yes.
Because we're posting on there. We're doing videos for you all this year, because everybody needs to see Sharon's reactions when she's laughing.
Just like that. And my hands. I've been putting my hands in my pockets these days, and I'm like, okay, gotta use the hands more.
Come on, jazz hands.
I know, I need the jazz hands. But yeah, and there's cool merch. You can't see it because of my microphone, but I'm wearing the Other What t-shirt, which is really fun. And yeah, this has been so much fun, and we'd love for you guys to like get more involved. Let us know what you want to hear too, because Desiree and I are just like jamming on all these things. If you want us to like, you know, do an episode on something else, oh my God, we would love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
So let us know.
Absolutely.
So,
all right. Well, we'll be back next week.
All right. See you guys later. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Other What podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave us a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. It really helps us grow. This episode was hosted by Sharon and Désirée Jamerson, and produced by Andrew Marconi. We'd love to hear from you. Connect with us on Instagram at The Other What and tell us your show ideas, comments, and suggestions. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, all of the podcasting platforms, and our website, theotherwhat.com, where you can listen to all our episodes, check out show notes, and shop for merch that supports the show. The Other What is proudly brought to you by 559 Labs. We'll see you next time.